Throughout history, there have been countless warriors who have competed in a variety of competitions to test their skills, abilities, will, and strength against not only their opponents, but even more so against their own desire to become a champion. Traditionally, these warriors have competed in a male-dominated world of combat. The original test of these skills, and still the most intimate, personal, and decisive, is that of the sport of kings. Because wrestling dates back 20,000 years to cave drawings of these warriors locked in wrestling holds against one another. The oldest known writings in human history all have mentions of wrestling, including the Indian Vedas, the Iliad, and even the Old Testament. And the very first Olympic Games of ancient Greece had wrestling as its centerpiece. As with the world, the presentation has changed. The lights have grown brighter through technology and innovation. The world has grown smaller, but still yet, wrestling remains the ultimate form of human competition, but not just for men any longer. Be it the trailblazing ladies, the squared circle, such as Cora Livingston, Mildred Burke, June Byers, Mae Young, Fabulous Moolah, to the unbelievable women of Joshi's Japanese history, such as Jackie and Maki of the Beauty Pair, Chigusa Nagayo and Lioness Asuka of the legendary Crush Gals, Dump Matsumoto, Bull Nakano, Devil Masami, Akira Ikuto, Aja Kong, Jaguar Yokota, Dynamite Kanzai, and even the great Manami Toyota, all have built the foundation to the incredible structure we enjoy and love today. Because these ladies don't just compete against one another. They compete against the stigma, the bias, the double standards, and the inequalities that have been a sad reality of the history of the world's greatest sport. But through their dedication, their blood, their passion, and their sacrifice, professional wrestling arenas are now filled with fans who come to see the women battle it out. Year after year, some of the greatest pro wrestling matches and pro wrestling companies are female. The sport of kings and queens is perhaps able to remain relevant for thousands of years from its simplicity of the struggle between two warriors. But wrestling is passion. Wrestling is violence. Wrestling is art. Wrestling is emotion. And wrestling is her.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wrestling is Her. I'm your host, Raja, and I'm joined by my forever tag team partner and co-host, John.
Making a hot tag.
Making the hot tag. This has been a whirlwind of a November, if I do say so myself.
November to remember.
We have completed the block action of the Goddesses Stardom Tag League.
Wow.
We've made it to the end of this incredibly long tag team tournament, and we are ready for the finals.
And let me say, out of all tag team tournaments, this one definitely was the best one I've seen this year.
It was so good. There was so much good that happened in this tournament that we're going to get so into, but we're going to do things a little differently in this episode because across the time between our last episode and now, there have been 6 Stardom shows.
There has.
And instead of just sitting here reading you results about every single one of them, we decided that we're going to focus on the final night of block action for Tag League, go through the matches that happened on December 1st, and talk about all the teams, all the things that have happened over the course of the Tag League, and all the cool storylines coming out of the tournament over the course of this single card.
Yeah.
Because there is so much to talk about.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about. And obviously, we could blame Stardom on this for the late upload of the last event.
There were a few that took some time, and then they kind of ran into the live shows, so there was no time to, in between to record, so we just kind of waited it out till the end.
But it's kind of a good thing, too, because there was some changes, and this is growing, this is living and breathing, we talked about before, but there's some changes that we had been wanting to make, and one of those changes with the rating system, because, listen, let's not get it twisted. What we would give 2 stars in Stardom would be 5 stars in other companies.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation.
Stardom has its own, rating system, honestly.
We had a conversation about it and had decided to change it up a little bit. And so it's going to be a new feature this week and moving forward. Do you want to explain that?
Yes. So our new feature is something that we love to say. We say it almost every episode. Go out of your way to see this. Because when we see a match that just blows us out of the water, we always tell you to go out of your way to find it and watch it, because you're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah.
So moving forward, our new feature is going to be matches that you need to go out of your way to see. 3 matches to be precise on each show, based on what we feel were the best of the best matches over the week.
Yeah.
So we do have matches for this show, and should we just start the show off with our matches you need to go out of the way to see?
Or, should we do that, or should we put those at the very end?
Ooh, maybe we should hang on till the end.
Because we got to talk about these things as we go, right?
Give it a little, you got to wait for it.
Well, you know I like to have something to look forward to, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So look forward to that for the end of the show after we go through all of these amazing things that have happened over the course of the past couple of weeks in Stardom. But before we jump into that, I do want to quickly mention the International Women's Cup.
Yes.
That is happening at Wrestle Dynasty. And this match is huge because it takes women from all 4 promotions that are participating in Wrestle Dynasty: Ring of Honor, AEW, CMLL, and Stardom. And one person from each of those companies will be wrestling against each other for the International Women's Cup, the inaugural. I hope that this is an ongoing thing that they do every year, maybe. Kind of like the Continental Classic that's going on right now.
Yes.
But we do know most of the women who are competing for a chance at this cup, including in Ring of Honor, Billy Starks, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, and Athena will be facing off in a 4-way at a future date between now and January 5th to determine which of those 4 will go on to the match. In CMLL, Zeuxis, Sanely, Persephone, and Reina Isis will face on December 13th to see which of them will go into the match. AEW's doing it a little differently. They're not just doing a 4-way match. They're having a little mini tournament with the 4 women to see who will qualify for the International Women's Cup match. And we've already seen Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata in the first round of that tournament. Jamie Hayter was the one who advanced past Queen Aminata, and very soon we'll see Willow Nightingale versus Serena Deeb to see which of them is going into the International Women's Cup qualifying tournament final against Jamie Hayter. That's a lot of words.
Yeah, that thing.
Stardom is the only one who has not said anything. They haven't made a match yet. We don't know which of the 4 Stardom girls are going to be fighting for the chance to get into this match yet. So there are, out of the 12 that we know, it's like an insane amount of talent already. So I can only imagine which of the 12 will get in and who from Stardom will get the chance to go into this match.
You know, Jamie Hayter actually had something on her Twitter, which I love seeing. And she was talking about how she loves the sound of the fact of her being in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
She really likes the sound of Jamie Hayter being in the Tokyo Dome.
I like the sound of that,
and she felt
too.
like that meant, that was a full circle moment, right?
Right.
And so I'm very excited just about it meaning a lot to her.
Yeah.
And damn, now I'm really wanting her to go. Because,
I would love to see Jamie Hayter in this match.
Well, there's so many
Dome.
I want to go. Like, I want Tony to be there because we just had that amazing thing with Tony, right?
Yes.
In Japan. Mariah makes so much sense because of all the stuff with Mariah. Mm-hmm. But Jamie going back, that's another story that's just been waiting and lying there, waiting for us to talk about with Jamie's run in Stardom before.
I know. She has experience in Japan, and to be able to face these women from other companies, it just feels like something Jamie could handle.
And being able to see Jamie on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
Do a Stardom type match again.
Yeah, I would pay all the money for that.
It's very, very cool, man. There's been a lot of big things going on in the whole wrestling world. I mean, so many of the companies are just chocked full of talent right now and
There's
excited.
So many talented women just all over the place. It's impossible to turn on a show these days without seeing somebody who you're like, oh my God.
Feels like we're building up, when Dream Kingdom happens, it feels like from there all the way with all the companies, the first, always is big in Japan. January 1st is always huge. Second, third, fourth. We're going to have such a damn week.
I know. Wrestle Kingdom week and everything surrounding it, even from the outside, is going to be huge in every single way.
Oh, I'm excited.
Especially, I'm excited for the women getting their chance to not only represent at Wrestle Dynasty, but to be on Wrestle Kingdom with the big title match with Mayu and Azumi. So there's just so much changing.
So even if, let's just say Mariah doesn't make it, right? Mm-hmm. But we're probably going to get a Mariah May versus
Tony, maybe?
Well, no. I mean, do you think? I think maybe the Shirakawa thing's going to go.
You think they'll run it back after Winter's coming?
Yeah, I think maybe Winter is coming is the first part of that, and maybe we get like a bigger match, maybe that includes Tony.
Oh, that would be cool.
No, if not a triple threat, then possibly some kind of tag deal.
Yeah.
Going in. I don't know who the hell would trust Mariah May to tag with her.
That's fair.
But there's got to be some.
Maybe another Club Venus ex-member like Xena. I don't know. I guess they wouldn't. Xena wouldn't go against Mina.
I mean, Mariah May's got a long line now of people that
hate her.
Yeah, that have had issues.
She's kind of made that a problem for herself.
Even going back to Club Venus,
Oh, man. There's been so much good. Even I can't wait to see what they do. Because you got to imagine Mercedes Moné will have a match in one of these shows being the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, whether it's on 1-4 or 1-5.
Well, she might not be the Strong Champion by that point.
That's true.
Because we got somebody is saying they're going to win it.
Oh, you got Hazuki lurking there for her match.
She is claiming that she is going to take that title.
There's every possibility that she will.
And she's put it out there a lot. She's put it out there so much that I'm starting to believe it.
She's going to manifest it.
Yeah.
But speaking of Mercedes, the match that she had against Chris Statlander at Full Gear.
Oh my God.
Was like top notch. Just insanely good.
And Dave Meltzer gave it 4.75,
which is every bit deserved.
And as he talks about on his scale, anything after 4.5, it's subjective. I mean, it's a 5-star match in somebody's book. That was a 5-star match.
It was. And I'm just excited very soon to just know what's happening at these big shows and just to be able to talk about it, because we can dream book all day long who we want to show up.
Well, that's
at
the fun
shows.
Part, though. I like the journey, but much better than the destination.
Me
normally.
Too. I love seeing the way they build things together. It's so much fun.
There's just so much stuff going on right now. I mean, what's the world going to be like with Sherry's future? What's Mayu Iwatani like? There's so much out there that is not happening right at the moment that is going to be big around the corner. So
yeah, and we're right on the precipice of it. Like we're right there. We're weeks away from Dream Queendom and the kickoff of Wrestle Kingdom week. So it's going to be here before we know it. But first, we have to get through the end of this tag league. We got to get the card for Dream Queendom all ready to go.
I think the biggest thing going on right now is some of the emerging stars.
Oh my God. This tag league has been full of just people showing up and being like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll wait to talk about this toward the end, but I mean, there's also some big trouble some people got into during the last night of action there. But the emerging star part is just, man, I wish I could go into it right now, but we're getting ready to talk about it. There's just really some people that are developing to a point that is exciting.
It is. And another exciting thing I just want to mention really quick, even though we haven't gotten to see it happen yet, we've seen the announcement for January 3rd at New Year's Stars, Micah and Hanako versus Team 200 KG.
Oh my God.
Chihiro Hashimoto and you. That is an insane match, okay, for 1-3.
Hey, and listen, for anybody out there in the Columbus, Ohio area, this coming Saturday,
yes, December 7th,
Wrestling Is Her will be in full action. We'll be up front somewhere because they do their tickets weird, but we're going to be there for the live collision.
Yes, at GalaxyCon.
Yeah, at GalaxyCon, and hopefully we'll see some of you out there. If you're going to be there, drop us a line somewhere. Let us know.
Say hi.
And we'll meet up and high five you and all that good stuff.
Talk about
and
Joshi.
Hopefully see some cool women's action on that taping or that live collision.
Yes, we know we're going to see Willow Nightingale versus Serena Deeb in the International Women's Cup qualifier.
So you get your Serena Deeb love.
Yay, I'm going to bring my flag.
Serena, if you're listening to the show, honey. All right. So she's going to bring the flag. You got to remember.
You got to remember.
You got to remember giving that flag. We're going to give some wrestling as her love.
All right, let's talk about this December 1st show in Joetsu. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Close enough.
In front of 426 fans. And the way that they create, like, the layout of this show was so cool. The building they were in was beautiful.
Incredible.
They had, like, laser lights and screens everywhere.
Felt like a pay-per-view.
It did feel like a pay-per-view. And everyone was just on the top of their game for this show. We saw it the night before on 11:30 during the Stardom Sisters homecoming show. Everyone was like in a great mood.
It was like the best mood show I've ever seen.
And just happy to be there. And that carried into this show with some of the best wrestling of the tag league and a great way to finish off this tournament before, the quarterfinals and everything.
But it was a great it's been a great series of shows.
It has.
But the last 2 nights,
the weekend shows were just immaculate.
Just incredible.
So let's start from the top, starting with a tag team match where Rana Yagami and Matoi Hamabe teamed up against Momo Kogo and Mayu Iwatani. Now, the just insanity of Peach Rock over the course of this tournament has been a story in and of itself. Like, we had so much hope for Peach Rock going into this tournament. We were so excited about this tag team. And it just became this insane story of, like, will she or won't she with Momo Kogo? Because it's like she performs perfectly well outside of tag league matches. And then they get into these big situations and she ends up getting pinned.
She can't win the big one.
She can't win the big one.
Yeah.
And she just wanted to show her growth throughout this tournament and show Mayu that she's deserving to be her tag team partner.
It's been an eerily familiar story to Mayu's old story herself with the Yoshirai.
It has been.
And we've thought about that, and maybe that's in Mayu's mind a little bit, like maybe I don't want to treat her as I was treated. Mm-hmm. But there are some differences. Mayu Iwatani at that point was arguably incredible.
Yeah, that's fair. She's always kind of been incredible.
Momo Kogo is a little bit different. She's older than Mayu was then. Mm-hmm. It is the same, but also a little bit different. And, Mayu Iwatani deserves the partner to be able that she can rely on, where it doesn't all have to be her.
She shouldn't have to baby her tag team partner, especially when her tag team partner isn't a baby.
So I get that, but as a leader of stars, it's her job really to lift them up and make them better. So I'm sure she takes a bit of that on the chin.
Yeah, she wants Momo Kogo to get better. And to her credit, she hasn't seemed overly annoyed or like frustrated with Momo Kogo during the tag league.
No, she's been pretty blunt with her in backstage comments. Before we ultimately talk about what's going to happen with those two, I think it's cool. We were talking about emerging stars, right?
Yes.
Obviously, we all love Rana Yagami.
Rana Yagami is so good. She got the pin in this match over Momo Kogo to win it for her team. She's
been doing amazing. We love you, Rana, and just doing a great job. But man, I have to give a little bit of
you got to talk up Matoi.
Matoi has been, listen, I've been in this game a long time. I've been in the game. I've been a fan of the game, mm-hmm. and I have played the game. So I absolutely have not seen many rookies. Mm-hmm. I want to say a pretty big statement. I want to say that I've never, ever in my entire life seen someone have their first 6-7 matches better than the 6-7 matches that I've seen Matoi have.
It's hard to think of one that can compare to just how complete she is already and how talented she is in the ring. Like, she doesn't seem unsure of herself at all.
That's it, the poise.
She's very confident.
She has this poise that takes years normally, this comfortability that doesn't just happen.
Right.
And she's got the skills, right? She's her footwork.
Oh, man.
Her ring presence. There's no hesitation.
Not at all.
Normally, hesitation is one of the biggest killers of a rookie, right?
Yeah, because they're not sure if like someone's going to be ready or if they're going to be ready, and it ends up looking a little awkward.
But even if it starts with pure wrestling, which we've seen her do beautifully with. If it's traditional pro wrestling, catches chain wrestling,
Right.
No matter what we've seen, and even with the high speed moments, she's been able to do it all.
She has.
The only thing that I would say is like she needs to lay in on her forearms a little bit.
Yes, that's like the one single point that we've noticed that she could work on a little bit is the forearms. But everything else, her judo background comes through beautifully in her work. She's just, her potential is off the charts.
It's off the charts. Listen, she's got the look. She looks like a superstar.
She does.
She absolutely carries herself like a superstar. All the girls seem to like her,
yes,
which is huge.
Stars is courting her heavily right now. They're like, you like working with Stars, don't you?
I don't know, man. I really think we're seeing I'm not just a star.
Yeah.
A mega star.
Yeah, and technically with this win, she has a win over Mayu Iwatani. So
yeah, so
just like, off to the side.
So back to Peach Rock.
But there was a funny moment with Peach Rock in this tournament on 11/24 when they faced Rana Yagami and Tomoka Inaba. Mayu was on the floor busy containing Rana Yagami to keep her out of the ring, and the pin happened where Tomoka gave Momo the Michinoku driver and pinned her, and Mayu thought that Momo won the match because she heard the 3 count. She didn't see it.
Right.
So she gets up so excited, and then Tomoka's music starts playing, and the look on her face of just confusion.
Yeah, she's great.
And upset. It was hilarious. But also, I felt so bad for Momo. She looked so sad. It was something else. And then to take this pin again from Rana in the next couple nights.
Rana one hurts worse. Tomoka has been established, be it in other companies, but has been established as a main eventer. I mean, she went against Micah.
She did, yes.
So, I mean, she's been established out there. Rana.
She's still a rookie.
They've raised Rana.
Yeah.
So to take that this early, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Peach Rock did win their final tag league match in contention against Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara, which is a big win.
Huge win.
And Momo did get the pin in that match. And so she is capable of doing these things. It's just, it seems like when...
Inconsistent.
It's when it matters most, she just drops the ball a little. Because that loss to Tomoka knocked them out of possibly getting to the finals of Tag League. So Mayu was obviously disappointed in that, but after this loss to Rana, she had some choice words for Momo Kogo. Maybe not so many words as just the feeling of seeing her backstage talking to Momo. She didn't even look at her really. She was just talking to the camera, and she was like, I really wanted to see how much Momo Kogo has grown in this Tag League, but now I want to see it from across the ring instead of next to you. So she proposed, since they won't be doing anything on December 8th for Tag League, that they should have a singles match against one another.
That's, it's going to be interesting.
It is.
It's going to be interesting.
Is this really just a teaching moment for Mayu Iwatani? Is she judging Momo Kogo's ability to even stay in Stars at this point?
I think so.
You think that there's a possibility she might kick Momo Kogo out of Stars?
I feel like it definitely is going to be one of those moments where she gives her a pay-per-view match.
Yeah. I don't think Mayu's going to go easy on her by any stretch of the imagination.
No, so December 8th is something to look forward to on that, for sure.
Momo Kogo has to be terrified, right?
Oh.
Or maybe she's really confident and ready to show what she's learned.
So, listen, 6 points is respectable.
6 points is a respectable amount of points.
It is.
In a tournament where you could possibly get 16, it's almost half.
Well, yeah. it's kind of, yeah.
Rana and Tomoka finished with 4 points, which is good for them, having a rookie on your team. And
they
all
were
that.
actually excited about that.
They were.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, we won too.
Yeah.
Good for them. So that was a fun way to open the show. Very shocking, obviously, with Rana getting that win and her and Matoi going over Peach Rock. Was
Absolutely.
Very crazy.
Yeah.
Then we got a Blue Goddess tournament match between Rion and Waka Tsukiyama and Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori.
So, I'm sorry. I was looking forward to this match.
Yes.
This was the one I had earmarked because of backstage comments. Once again, if you guys are not watching the backstage comments with the English subtitles on Stardom World, you need to do it.
You're missing like half the story, honestly.
Go back weeks and just look at everyone they've posted and watch only that, and you'll get all the story you need.
It's so fun.
It is hilarious. And then you get Cosmic Angels too, that just in another plateau. But
you really get the girls' personalities through them.
You do. And I was very excited because Aya Sakura, at the event preceding this one, the last time they had the tag match, Aya Sakura started talking about how much she can't stand Waka Tsukiyama. And it's like, out of all people that you expect to hear something about, okay, I can hear people even saying something like, "God damn Kogaman or Bear,"
right?
Or stupid hate, something like things you understand, things you don't expect, or is someone giving Waka hate?
Yeah. She was very upset
the
with
smileyest, nicest person in the planet, probably.
Yes.
Waka Tsukiyama, but she's like, the whole time I was a trainee, I couldn't stand her.
She's like, I'm gonna kick her butt, literally.
I'm gonna kick her butt, and then she was, talking about how the other, of her class, getting a lot of chat and stuff, so she had the show.
Yes, and Aya was able to do that in this match. She actually got the win over Waka using an armbar. So a little submission from the Karate Girl. But I just want to mention how much fun it's been to see Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori as a team.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout this tag league. You can tell how close they are and how much fun they're having when they go out to the ring. Even though they're a little different, Yuna's very fun and like bubbly, and Aya's getting a little more of the serious side where she just wants to kick people.
She's getting a little crazy.
Just a little bit.
She's went from my little baby sweetheart to
scary.
Yeah, she's a bit scary.
She is, and she's had a big chance in this tag league to show off those monster kicks that she continues to build upon.
And I love Yuna. I'm like you. I love hearing Yuna talk.
She's so sweet.
She's got like this, I don't know, man. I think repackaged Yuna is Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
Because she has, we talked about it before.
Those lariats.
Dude, she's vicious. She lays it in there on everything.
She really does.
No daylight in her stuff whatsoever. And, speaking of people progressing, on the other side of this ring right now, we have Rion and Waka we were talking about. Well, Rion.
Wow.
Okay. So sometimes, again, you expect people to progress. Every time I see, Carrara come out, I am now expecting a better Carrara than I had last time, just because she's on this upward, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but she is shining as stars do.
She is.
Rion has been one of the slowest burns that I have seen in a long time. We've been trying to cook her along. We've been doing everything we can, hometown matches, put you in a faction, all this stuff, right? And it's just not really seen the progression, even when she goes to other places.
Yeah, it's just sort of been the same Rion match.
The same match. Yeah, and it's looked kind of weak.
Yeah.
But
she seemed a little timid.
Rion, over the course of this tag league, has really turned it on.
It's like something clicked all of a sudden. And it's like, oh, I know how to be a professional wrestler now.
There is a moment that happens for anybody wrestling. There is a moment that happens. And I seen a guy put a post out earlier on social media, a very well-respected guy, and for guys like me in the South in indie wrestling, he does a lot of things for the guys. But he said, who was the one guy that you remember facing that was when you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this stuff, because he was so good,
Right.
And instead of thinking of that, I thought about the first guy that I faced that helped me and made it click. And it was not anybody would know outside of, my area, but it was a chick and the equalizer. It was Chicken Crunch. I always called him Chicken Crunch. But they were long-standing veterans, right?
Right.
They'd been around for a long time, very well respected in every locker room I've ever been in. But they were the first ones in the ring to take the time with me,
right,
to say, "Slow down, kid. Flip here. Do this." It was amazing to me that the things that were being said were able to be said in the ring
without anyone noticing.
Without anybody knowing.
Right.
But they were the first ones to go, "Hey, loosen your damn arm up. Give it to me. Trust me. Do this, do this, do this, do this." But they also gave me fire up. They let me shine. And that moment meant everything to me. From then on, I was a better pro wrestler. I slowed down. I listened. I did the things I needed to do. That was it. And she's had that moment somewhere along the line.
I think officially joining EXV and now getting the chance to team with Waka over the course of the past few months has really done a lot for her. Yeah. I think she's really starting to understand, like, this is what you need to do. This is how you put on a good match. And you can just see it. She's a lot smoother.
Oh.
Her shots are laid in a lot heavier. And it's just more fun to watch.
Well, the facials, the even backstage stuff, and the way they kind of little sister her.
Yeah.
Mike has always got her arm around her, and she's making the funny faces. She's kind of like settling into who she is.
She is, yes, and I love to see it.
Me too.
I love it when the rookies finally come into their own, and you start to see the kind of wrestler they're going to be moving forward.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's a little worrisome sometimes. Sometimes you're like, are they ever gonna get it? Yeah. Are they ever gonna start working properly? And they finally do.
Hell of a great environment there to learn. So.
Sometimes I feel like a mom, like when I'm watching, I'm like, come on, please.
Yes. Sometimes I feel like a mom as well.
But both of these teams, both Reckless Fantasy and Yuna and Aya, they ended their tournament with 4 points each. Mm-hmm. So not a bad showing for either of these teams, especially given, the members, the rookies. It's sometimes you're like, are they even going to win a match because they have rookies on their team?
Yeah, no, I agreed.
Following that match, we had a 3-way match where Rina took on Meisera and Natsupoi. And this is like an insane match to put Rina in, I feel, because it's the Wonder of Stardom champion and the High Speed champion, and then you've just got Rina stuck in there in the 3-way.
Yeah, and we talked about on the last show the very cool moment at the end of the match with Natsupoi
and Starlight Kid,
where Rina came in between them. We were all excited. We were giddy because Natsupoi was facing off against Starlight Kid. We're going to have this big white belt battle coming up, and everything was right there, and we had the chills. But then Rina just brushes right between them, and in the most beautiful, no commentary needed moment, there's just a little look.
She just looks at him, and it's like you just get that image of like a year in the future, and you're like,
don't forget about me, girls.
Yeah, I'm here, and I am coming up fast on your tails, honestly, because we need to talk about the performance Rina and Azusa Inaba put on in this tag league. They ended this tag league with 8 points. They had wins over Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki, Wingori, and the tag champions Tekla and Momo Watanabe. Yeah. They beat all of those incredible high-powered teams.
Yeah, they beat the ones that they had no business beating.
Which is just mind-blowing. And even over the course of it, Azusa Inaba talking backstage about how she knows that she didn't do good enough and that she needs to get better at what she's doing in the ring to help Rina along. But Rina being that stalwart partner and so reliable and so good, they just got these wins. Like, I was, every single time I was amazed.
It's unreal. And we've sang the Rina stuff. I mean, listen, we have been on the Rina train the whole time.
Yes.
And everybody knows that. I'm not going to rehash that. We love Rina, but good God almighty.
She's insanely talented.
This has been incredible. So back to this match. The funny thing to me in this match, and the one thing I remember, I was so excited about the fact we had the two champions and Rina in there.
Yes.
There was obviously 2 people that wanted to have a match.
Uh-huh.
And
then a third person.
A third person was involved. Meisera was unceremoniously tossed from this ring so many times.
She just kept trying to get in there, and they were not having it.
No, they were very laser focused on one another. I think that no matter what happens with the white belt match, we know what's next for whoever wins.
Yeah, Natsupoi did win this 3-way match over Rina with the ferrying ring, which is a hard move to not kick out of. So she did get in Rina's face. She was kind of like, oh, you want this belt? No, like teasing her, how Natsupoi is. And Rina was clearly like, yes, I want that belt. Thank you. But she feels she's ready. And whether Natsupoi believes that or not is not any concern to Rina, because she's not going anywhere until she gets a shot at that belt.
So I believe the Starlight Kid's going to beat Natsupoi for that belt.
I would not be surprised if we had Starlight Kid as the Wonder of Stardom champion very soon.
And then we get Starlight and Rina.
That would be an excellent match.
I mean, it would be. It would be. But it would also be great to see Rena and Poi if Poi retains. I mean, that's a great challenger either way.
It is. And it's crazy to think Rena challenging for one of the top belts she'll be 18 by that point.
Yeah.
But she's still so young, but such a veteran already in her career.
Yeah.
She's so good.
She is incredible.
She continues to blow my mind every time she's in the ring. But as far as these teams go, I said Rina and Azusa Nava ended with 8 points. Mei Seira and Kohaku had 9 points. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to get them into the finals. But Natsupoi and Sariano are the top of the blue block. They ended their tournament with 12 points.
Amazing.
To no one's surprise.
To nobody's surprise. I mean, that's the way it should. Sometimes things that should happen.
Sometimes things just need to happen the way they're meant to.
Right.
Following that, we had a Red Goddess tournament match where Maika and Hanako took on Sayaka Kurara and Tam Nakano. And this is where we need to have a conversation about Sayaka Kurara, specifically in her relationship with Tam Nakano over the course of this tag league, because it has been our favorite part. I think I speak for both of us, our favorite part of this Goddess of Stardom tag league.
Word.
Because we know that Tam Nakano adores Sayaka Kurara. She wants the world for this girl. And Sayaka even said as much about how Tam told her she's going to teach her to be the greatest idol wrestler in the world. And Sayaka seems very up for that. But over the last half of this tag league, they've gotten even closer to the point that Tam has started kissing Sayaka all over her face after matches and just coddling her like this is her child and she is going to raise her to be the best thing that anyone has ever seen, and she won't take anything else for an answer. And
interestingly enough, during this meteoric rise of Sayaka Kurara, because don't get it twisted, Sayaka Kurara has become a star over the last few weeks.
Oh my God.
I mean, a star.
Just right before our eyes.
And we're going to talk about one moment coming up. But let me just say, interestingly enough, she's also had magazine articles and interviews because of the star rise, right?
Yeah, like little media things, like cute little camera things and stuff.
I read all that crap, okay? This is something I like doing. I read it. One in particular was Sayaka Kurara talking about coming into wrestling. Mm-hmm. And who she's seen herself as.
Right.
Compared to where she ended up.
Right.
Not that she wasn't happy about where she is. And I just think it's interesting because Tam saying, I'm going to make you the best idol wrestler.
Yes.
There is. Well, Kurara wanted to be like DDM.
Oh, DDM vibes.
That was her favorite. That was what she's seen herself as.
She wanted to be more the cool chick, like...
She envisioned herself as
taking names.
As a homegrown wrestling, like DDM, kind of person. And, she talked about Cosmic Angels were all pretty much from the entertainment industry, and that wasn't her.
They are, yeah. All of them were like idols or actresses.
Oh, right. And so she didn't originally see herself like that. I think she's settled into it now. I just thought it was an interesting side note.
It is interesting, especially given the fact that she debuted like a week before Donna Del Mondo disbanded. So you got to imagine that was a little heartbreaking for her, and she had to figure out other plans.
Right. I mean, and listen, we think it's the most natural fit ever, right? We've seen it.
Yeah.
From the first, we thought that's where she belonged.
The moment we saw her, we're like, oh, that's a Cosmic Angel.
Sometimes you're not the best judge of yourself, right?
Yeah.
And somebody else can see it. But I just think it's interesting because we've also seen her not kiss Tam back.
She seems either very shy or very reluctant to return Tam's affection to that degree. She'll like kiss her hand and like touch Tam's cheek or like blow her kisses, but she refuses to actually kiss Tam.
I'm just one of these people that think everything means something.
I know, and it's so interesting given the impending title match between Tam Nakano and Saya Kamitani.
Think about it.
Because Saya made it a point to bring Sayaka Kurara into that story after beating Tam in that match. She said she wanted to take everything away from Tam, everything she finds precious, and what does she find more precious at this time than Sayaka Kurara?
Yes, she has made it a point to find her the most precious thing in the world. And you know how much hate loves to just punish Tam.
They do. They're so mean.
And it hurts us inside. But since that moment happened, when she got down, she being
Yeah.
Sayaka Matani.
Yeah.
When she gets down and looks at Sayaka Kurara in the face.
I was like seething.
and that on top of everything that's been said.
It does make you think, and
The unrequited love.
It's interesting that Tam ramped up this affection after that match happened. Like, she wasn't kissing all over Sayaka at the beginning of the tournament. It's only been since Saya made that claim that she's kind of become almost overbearing in a way to Sayaka Kurara, but it doesn't seem outwardly like Sayaka minds. But you just have to watch for those little things, the little details, like not kissing Tam back. And it's interesting. Maybe she still feels like she doesn't belong necessarily in Cosmic Angels. Maybe she wants something different for her career. And this meteoric rise, as you called it, that she's on, the wave of momentum that she claimed that she would continue to ride, gives her power to make those choices for herself if she wants to.
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty incredible, man. Like, what we have going on right now is fun, exciting. I love the intrigue.
Me too.
On this one, and it's been my favorite part, yes. Through the entire tournament. It's going to continue to be my favorite story.
Through the end of the year, absolutely. And Sayaka Kurara, speaking of her wave of momentum, the reason she had that is because she scored not only wins in Tag League with Tam as her partner, she scored pins over Ruaka and Saki Kashima over the course of the Tag League, just in the last few matches that they had. She was the one to give the pin, including reversing the Kishi Kaisei into a pin, which is just insanity.
And we'll talk about things coming up because we have the moments of the week.
Yes.
We have the things you got to go out of your way to see. Spoiler alert, Sayaka Kurara is part of that.
Of course she is. But Tam and Sayaka did end the tournament with 6 points, which is about as much as you expect a rookie team, someone with a rookie on their team, to get in the Tag League. And Mike and Hanako, of course, are top of the red block. They ended up with 14 points. And even though they tied the leader of the block, they did not become number one because they lost to FWC.
And they've really become quite the team because, I mean, even with the challenging of Team 200 KG.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Obviously, they're going to remain a team.
And I love it. I love them as a team. I love their little ritual after the match, the little kampai. Like, we do it with them. We're like, yeah. I absolutely adore them as a tag team.
I love their look right now.
Yeah.
They had one of the moments that I know made you, like, do your little squeal.
We're gonna talk about that at the end of this night.
Okay. All right.
We're going to get there.
All right.
Following that match, we had a Blue Goddess tournament match between Lady C and Hina versus Suzu Suzuki and Starlight Kid. And this was an important match because in winning this match, Suzu Suzuki and Starlight Kid punched their ticket into the Blue Block finals for the tournament. And they are a weird tag team, but one that just works.
It does.
It just works.
It does. It works. It's a good mix. I like opposites attract.
I do too.
It reminds me, I've said it before, but it reminds me of Kerry Von Erich with the milk and Michael Hayes with the Jack Daniels.
That's totally them.
It is them. It's just picture from my childhood that keeps coming back that I got to put it side by side and put it on social media because it is so them. I would love to see that recreated with them.
That would be really cool. And Suzu and Starlight, after Historic X Over, which we covered on our last show, Starlight had that red and black gear from where she teamed with El Desperado. So now they looked even more like a tag team over the past couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell they're having just so much fun. Lady C and Hina have also shown a tremendous amount of growth as a tag team, but also just Lady C in general with her big boots and her chops and everything that she's been putting together has felt so much more like a complete wrestler throughout the course of this tag league. And it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
But these teams, SLK and Suzu, won with 11 points in the tag league. And they actually had 2 draws over the course of the tag league. One with the block winners, Natsupoi and Sariano, and one with the tag team champions, Tekla and Momo Watanabe. So you got to think that'll create some interesting dynamics moving forward, especially if Sariano and Natsupoi possibly win the tournament and maybe get those tag team belts back. But we don't know. We don't know what'll happen, but I just thought it was interesting to get 2 draws over the course of a tournament.
It was.
But that brings us to the next match, which was a Red Goddess tag team match between Konami and Saya Kamitani versus Miyu Amasaki and Azumi. And funnily enough, this match went to a draw. It went to a time limit draw because these teams just could not get one over in each other. But O2 Line versus Hate in this manner was really fun and really solid. Like, this match was one of the best of the night, in my opinion. And to see it go all the way was just cool because we got more time with them all.
It was, and I think Azumi's path lies elsewhere.
Yeah, O2 Line is a cool thought. It's a cool concept. They've been together for a long time. The remnants of Queen's Quest. They've been a tag team for a while, but is that really where they need to put their focus? I mean, Miyu's the newly crowned Future of Stardom champion. Azumi's going to be facing Mayu Iwatani at Wrestle Kingdom. They both have other things to worry about.
I really enjoyed watching Azumi like talk trash to people.
She's so funny.
And like when she is that Azumi, when she's that confident, I'm the best in the world kind of confident.
Yeah.
She has some of the biggest matches of her life coming up right now.
She does. And she feels it. You can tell. Like,
oh my God.
She's been so cocky in her matches.
I mean, you know what? The hell with that. It's the biggest match of her life.
Oh, yeah. IWGP Women's Championship match.
Without a doubt.
At Wrestle Kingdom.
The biggest match of her life. And arguably, because of the stage it's on, but the barriers it's breaking, the biggest match of Mayu Iwatani's life.
Absolutely. Like, you can't argue otherwise. This match is going to change things, and it could change the IWGP Women's Champion.
Can you imagine the pressure?
No.
What kind of pressure do
I cannot.
It took so long to get the women on the 1-4 show. It's taken so long to get the women there.
Yeah.
Even though you look back 20, 30 years, and the women were, selling out the Egg Dome. I mean,
right.
And that should not have changed.
No.
So this is that moment. That's a step. Stardom is hot right now.
Oh, they're selling out left and right.
And you feel it. You feel the momentum. You feel everything clicking. You feel like this just embarrassment of riches with the talent.
Everyone's excited.
And so this match, Jesus Christ, it has to deliver.
It does. It can't fall flat.
It has to deliver on that level that people are talking about this match over every match that happened.
Right. Because that's the standard that the women need to rise to.
And it totally can.
Oh, I can't imagine picking two better people to put in this position for this match.
Even without personal issues.
Even then, mean, they kind of have it with Mayu making Azumi wait for so long, but just the fact that Azumi has been overlooked in her career thus far and hasn't really had that big moment that she obviously deserves. It's just they're gonna come out there and blow it out of the water.
My biggest fear is the time that they say, all right, girl, 7 minutes.
I know. I'm so worried that it's gonna be like an 8-minute match.
Because for Mayu Iwatani to have the Mayu Iwatani match, I got to have 15 minutes at least.
At least.
Yeah.
Like, that's bare minimum for a Mayu Iwatani IWGP match.
Can you imagine us being able to get like a 23-minute match?
We would be blessed. We would all be blessed.
A 23-minute match right before intermission.
Yeah.
As I think I've already talked about on the show. Yeah. It's a great spot.
It is, because then people can let it settle.
The traditional popcorn match is the worst spot. That's right after intermission. That's usually where you put matches like your midgets or, your sideshow right after intermission, because people are, settling back from
they haven't quite all come back
right.
yet.
It's named that for a reason. They're eating their snacks, right? And you got to put something in there to sort of break the thread. But I just hope it has a good spot.
I do too. A good spot, a good amount of time to show what these girls are made of.
Yeah, like fourth on the card or something.
Because they're insanely talented and they deserve it.
Probably fifth on the card on a Wrestle Kingdom.
I also want to shout out Konami and Saya Kamitani, who have just been the coolest looking tag team in their walkout gear. But also they work really well together. And obviously Saya has bigger things to worry about with her challenge to Tam Nakano coming up at the end of the month. But they did fairly well in this tag league, even though they did hate stuff most of the time.
Hate's gotta hate, man.
Yes, so both of these teams, both Konami and Saya and Azumi and Miyu, got 7 points coming out of this tournament because of this draw. That kept Konami and Saya Kamitani from being able to make the finals, so sorry to them that they didn't get there. But after that, we had a humdinger of a thing happen,
Boy, do
didn't
we
we?
have something to talk about, don't we?
This Blue Goddess match, okay? Tekla and Momo Watanabe, the tag team champions, versus Saya Ida and Hanan Wingori. And this match was for all the marbles in the Blue League. Like, whoever won this match was going to be the last of the 3 teams in the finals. So the match itself was fine. The match itself was really good. You know, you got Hanan in there doing her selling. You got hating doing their thing.
Right.
The wrestling was amazing.
Yeah.
They did their very best, but the way it ended was just so beautiful.
Yes, it was.
Because they're fighting on the outside. And we've seen it multiple times over the course of this tag league where Hate will get so caught up in the fight on the outside that they just don't even care about getting back in the ring before the count. But in this instance, they weren't able to contain Hanan. And that's important because Tekla, who was also legal, got caught up on the outside with Saya Ida, who dragged her back to the depths, so that when the count happened, Hanan was the only one left in the ring.
They were trying their damnedest to get that thing where they would hold them and get the count out.
Yes.
And it backfired.
It completely backfired because
backfired.
Wingori won this match. Yeah. Wingori beat the champs. Wingori's going to the finals like we so desperately wanted.
Yeah, we called it. And we called their turnaround. And
they had a hard time in the beginning. The champs did not. They started out really great, but then they started losing to people like Rena and now to Wingori. I think this boiled over, as we saw after the match. Tekla was not pleased with this result, to the point that she started attacking Stars members, Saya and Hanan. She grabbed Okada by the tie and was just mad as ever. She hit a staff worker.
Yes.
An innocent person who's just there to keep the fans safe.
The internet, the Japanese internet, there was calls for her to be deported.
It's insane that she would put her hands on an official of any kind.
Yeah.
Because we know how it leads. No, it's not. She has done this before in the past, but they did release a news update talking about how the worker in question asked that she not be punished, but because it wasn't an injury out of negligence and just not paying attention, it was a intentional act that bruised up this worker and actually sent him. He had to go to the hospital and like get checked out and everything because she was so brutal. They decided that they needed to instill some punishment for Tekla. So the punishment they decided on was to suspend her for 3 weeks. She's not allowed back until the show on December 22nd. They took away her salary for the entirety of her suspension. She will not be paid. And she has to pay a fine of $2,000 to Stardom for her acts. So she is getting her comeuppance in a sense, but I'm not sure it's enough to harness Tekla.
I think they should strip her.
It feels like maybe
the tag titles.
Yes, of the belts. Take the belts away and maybe like kick her out. I don't know. She's been a force and she's just getting worse as time goes on.
Well, never let a good controversy go to waste. So,
agreed.
The match you can have coming out of that could be interesting. But I think the person that should be pissed is her partner.
Yeah, it's like Momo's there now without her tag team partner. Yeah. What is she supposed to do? Because Tekla went on this rampage.
It's very selfish behavior.
It is.
And I think that's something that Hate should look at.
Yeah, I mean, they do like to cheat and use their weapons and stuff, but they don't go to the lengths that Tekla goes to most of the time. She is the worst apple of the bunch.
Right.
And I know it's like, it's her character, right? She's supposed to be that way, but this felt a little over the top, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
like maybe she went a little
and
overboard.
Like I said, the fans didn't like it.
No, they were very upset.
So it was the deportation. I love to see that.
So we won't be seeing Tekla for a while, but I guess we'll see what that means for obviously the champs aren't going to be in the tag league finals now because they lost this match. They and Hanan and Saida both ended up with 9 points, but because Hanan and Saida beat them, they are the ones going to the tag league finals. And I do want to talk about something very special that happened on the night before, which was Hanan, Hina, and Rena's homecoming. They were in Shimizuke City. I don't know if I said that right, but close enough.
You got to cough when you're saying it.
Right, so that sounds like I said.
Shimizuke City.
But they faced Starlight Kid, Saida, and Ruaka in a 6-man match in the main event. And it was just good fun. You know, the flowers. Rena ruined the flowers. Rena was not here for this tag team at all. She was hitting her own partners and messing up her sisters the whole way, but they still managed to
It was
win.
a great presentation. It was a great, wonderful match. And it was a celebration of the 3 sisters of Stardom there.
It was so good.
That I love, and the fact that we have them, you know, there on the roster, and all the things that are coming up in the future with them.
Yeah.
You know,
they're stars.
It's really cool seeing the sisters are all great.
Yes, like the mayor said, they're the shining stars of that city, and you can see why they would be proud of them. Like, that place was packed out, and it was like half of it was their friends. they were all so happy for them.
Yeah, it was one you definitely want to see if you like any of the 3 of them.
Yes.
It was really cool moment.
It was a cool moment. That brings us to the main event of the evening on December 1st, a red tournament match between Shiri and Saki Kashima and Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. And this was another one that was win and you're in. So these 2 teams had to battle it out to see who was going to go to the finals. And, you know how it went.
Right.
You know how it went.
Yeah.
Konami got in there. She's helping out. Natsuko Tora was able to get the Swanton Bomb on Shiri to get the pin. And because Konami helped, so Hate won the match. And now they will be going to the tag tournament finals. I just want to say, though, that this Shiri and Saki Kashima evolution over the course of the tag league has been very interesting and a little weird, honestly, because it seems like they don't seem mad at each other per se, but they seem confused about each other.
Yeah.
Like, they don't seem to know what to make of each other's losing, or like Shiri constantly questioning why Saki Kashima is talking about how people are exciting, and I love them as a tag team.
I do too.
But I don't know if they were in it entirely mentally, and they just did what they could.
I am done with Shiri as a tag partner. Like, I want her to be in red. I want her to be out there killing people. Yeah,
we're ready for like scary Shiri to come back.
Yeah, I am ready for the actual Shiri to come back.
Yeah.
And please stand up.
Please, show us where you are.
Yes.
But following this match, Hate launched an attack on Shiri and Saki Kashima. Saki covered Shiri up, you know, the whole song and dance. And then the most beautiful thing happened. Micah and Hanako hit the ring like a house of fire.
Yes.
Micah slid in there at speeds I've never seen that
like
woman
1986, Magnum TA coming to the ring to save Dusty.
She gets in Natsuko Tora's face.
Yeah.
She's telling her that she is not done with it. Like, Natsuko Tora stole her red belt, number 1, but she is just on fire right now.
I like the fear on Tora's face.
Yeah, Micah puts her hand on her throat.
Yeah.
She's telling her, she's like, we're going to win this tag league and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
It was, oh man.
Dude,
I needed a moment, okay?
Yeah, that run-in was something. It really was. And Hanako with the black hair now just adds to it.
Yeah, the new black hair with the blue streaks looks so good.
Yeah, they really remind me of, I say this a lot.
Yeah.
But they remind me of mid-'80s.
They are so cool.
Like they remind me of something like from maybe even 82, 83 star, you know, AJW and just that ass kickers.
I love it so much because since that happened, since Natsuko Tora took the red belt off of Micah, she evolved into the more fun Micah for the 5-star Grand Prix, and she hasn't really revisited
Cowboy Micah.
She hasn't revisited the Natsuko Tora issue.
Right.
She hasn't said anything about it. She hasn't made it known that she's still upset about it. But this moment, when she gets the opportunity and she knows that she will be facing Natsuko Tora in this match, in the finals, she's on it. Like, she's here to remind you that she has not forgotten and she is not going to be, like, she's not just going to let this happen.
Absolutely.
And I love it.
I do too.
So Natsuko Tora and Ruaka are in the finals with 8 points, and Shiri and Saki Kashima ended their tournament with a respectable 6 points. So let's talk about these finals coming up. On the 7th of December, they will be in Hamamatsu. Both nights they'll be in Hamamatsu. We will have the quarter and semifinals on the same night. So 2 teams will be wrestling twice on the 7th. We'll start with the red quarterfinal where Micah and Hanako will take on Natsukatora and Ruaka. And then the blue quarterfinal is Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki versus Hanan and Saya Ida. So the winners of those two matches will go on to face the teams that topped the blocks, the ones that get a bye in this round, which for the red side is Hazuki and Koguma, of course, FWC is the number one team in the red block. And for the blue side, it's Natsupoi and Saori Ano. So we could have Micah and Hanako versus Hazuki and Koguma again, or they could be facing the hate team, and then Starlight and Suzu against Poi and Saori, or Wingori against Poi and Saori in the semifinals to see who from the red and who from the blue ends up in the final on December 8th, the next night.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm looking at it right now, seeing
who you think's going to make it to the final.
I think Wingori beat Starlight and Suzu.
Interesting.
Just because of the ride they've been on.
Right.
I think Micah and Hanako win. And so I think Micah and Hanako beat FWC. Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, I think I'm going to see a Wingori upset over Poi and Saori.
So you think Wingori makes it all the way?
I think Wingori versus Micah and Hanako.
That would be an amazing final.
Yeah.
If I had to pick the final of this, I think I would go Hazuki and Koguma from the red, ending up in the final against Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki, where we reintroduce the idea of Starlight and Hazuki, which is just a dream of mine. I don't know if that's how it's gonna go, but I just feel like it's set up in a way that could end up being the final and that it would be very tense. But I also just feel like Saori Ano and Natsupoi are going to win the whole thing. So that can't happen.
No, I mean, honestly, between mine, it's hard. It's hard. Like, which way we're going to go. But Micah and Hanako winning it, then winning against 200 kg.
Yeah.
Outside of the Fed. Then
just make them a proper tag team.
Then taking the belts and having a run with the belts.
That would be
because they're
cool.
a fun tag team.
Yeah.
Wingori's a fun tag team, but
they are a well-established tag team.
And all your singles belts are kind of tied up at the moment, so it'd be a good thing for Hanan.
It would be.
And you want to keep Hanan hot, right? You want to keep her out there in front of people.
Yeah.
And with some gold, man.
Yeah.
So either way, it's something.
Any of these 6 teams is a good.
I would love to see Hanako win a world title.
That would be so cool. Mike and Hanako with the tag belts sounds like an excellent run to have.
What a tag team.
And it would be cool to see them get their win back over FWC after FWC beat them.
It would be, but also Wingori finally getting the big titles.
Yeah.
Would be interesting as hell.
It would be. They have been New Blood tag team title champions before, so.
And we know what a damn good match they can put on as a tag team against all our top tag teams. So
yes, we do. They're such a good tag team.
I mean, and silly us for sleeping on FWC in the first place, but
I know FWC is just in there like, hey,
they're the ones we actually
we
got physically mad about losing the belts.
We did.
So, I mean,
we were ready for that run, man.
Yeah, we were ready to leave the company.
It's going to be fun to see and interesting to see who ends up in the final and who ends up winning and getting that tag title shot in the end.
I don't think Hate wins because of the champions being Hate.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think Natsukatora and Ruaka have a chance, mostly because Ruaka's on the team, but we'll see how they do. Honestly, we never know anything. This tag league has shown us that because there's been a bunch of crazy things
and
happen.
who really cares? Because 12H is going to be the Mayotani match.
Absolutely. So before we sign off, I think we need to talk about our moments of the week, our go out of the way to see it moments. Starting at number 3, I want to mention Micah and Hanako versus Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara from December 1st, which we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason this is on my list of moments for this week is because specifically the matchup of Hanako and Sayaka Kurara and the amount of just insane growth that they've had and how good they are at this point against each other despite still being so young.
That crowd.
Yeah.
the crowd, I mean, has been behind Kurara.
They have, and it shows.
Some of the best moments of the year, really, for me, has been hearing the crowd just explode.
I know, hearing them chant Kurara, like every moment that girl has just been beautiful.
It has, because
she's a star.
She's worked her way up, and we've got to watch it since day one.
Yes. The number 2 moment of the week that I think people need to search out and see is from Sendai Girls on November 22nd, Shiri versus Mika Iwata in a singles match. We knew this match was going to be fire, but they just put on such an excellent clinic against each other.
So good.
And there's all the kicks. Many kicks.
It was such a good match. And even the post-match was great because we don't understand it. Because Sariano was just there in the crowd. She comes out and she looks at Mika Iwata. And what did she say to her?
She said something like, I'm here. Do you want to do it again? And we were like, huh? What?
Yeah.
What's happening?
So you got excited because, I
love those two together.
It's time to write another article.
I loved this match against Shiri. It was a match made in heaven, honestly. Spider-Man meme across the ring from each other.
Yeah, it's really great.
But my number 1 moment of the week that I feel like everyone just needs to experience happened on November 23rd in the main event of the Stardom show when Sayaka Kurara and Tam Nakano took on Shiri and Saki Kashima.
Exactly
so
what I'm
both
talking
Shiri
about.
and Sayaka getting 2 moments this week. But this match in particular really sells the whole Sayaka Kurara story if you watch this match, because going into it, you don't think there's any way that Sayaka Kurara is going to get the pin in this match. And the moment it happens, even leading up to it, her spear, her cutter, everything that she does is on point. And then getting the pin, not only getting the pin, but reversing the Kishi Kaisei, which is a match ender. It's a killer. Into the pin.
Yeah.
It was like we exploded. We screamed. The crowd screamed. Tam screamed. And the kisses happened. And it was just such a beautiful moment that I don't think I'll ever forget.
It was one of the things that make us love wrestling. And we talk about that a lot. The things that really bring the emotion about why we love what we do, why we love what we watch. And this really encapsulated it because the crowd just, they smelled like something was in the air. But as Raja was saying, the way she executed her moves was just with a different level of zest than I've ever seen her do. And they were so crisp. Everything was perfect. And it's very cinematic.
It was. She's a very cinematic person. And I feel like if you watch this, you're bound to understand the Sayaka Kurara love. I don't think you can avoid it after watching this match.
No, very great stuff. And that was some great moments.
It was. And one last thing before we sign off, I just want to send well wishes to Miss Haruka Umasaki, who's one of our favorites. And she's injured right now, so she'll be out for a while, which is sad.
Yeah,
but we hope
sad.
she gets better quickly and that there's no problems or anything and that she comes back better than ever, which is hard because she's already great.
Get well soon.
But that's all for us this week on Wrestling Is Her. Make sure you're following us on X, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, at Wrestling Is Her, everywhere that there is social media. And make sure you listen to us on Spotify or Apple or Google Play. We're everywhere, honestly. Leave us comments. Let us know if you're going to be in Columbus, Ohio on December 7th for Collision, because we will be there. And make sure you tune in next time when we will be covering the finals of the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Raja. He's John. So long from Wrestling Is Her. Bye.